Liverpool shocked everyone last season. Arne Slot's side stormed to the Premier League title in sensational style, with an impressive 4 games to spare. But beneath the glory, cracks begin to show. If the Reds want to dominate all 4 fronts next year, smart moves in the transfer market are essential. So, who should Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes go after this pre-season? Let's break it down. It's safe to say that Liverpool showed a somewhat naive approach to the Champions League last season. Granted, the format was new, so nobody really knew the best way to attack the competition. But as it turned out, going hell for leather to finish top of the 36-team group was largely pointless. As a reward for finishing first, the Reds were drawn against eventual winners, PSG, in the first knockout round, eventually succumbing on penalties as the French outfit showed a little more cunning and guile over the 2 legs. That tie showed that this current iteration of Liverpool, whether you want to call it Slot 1.0 or Klopp 3.0, isn't quite ready for a simultaneous attack on the Champions League and the Premier League. Yes, Liverpool's bread and butter has always been the domestic league, and that should always be the case. But also, this is Liverpool we're talking about, the most successful team England has ever produced. This team should be able to compete in both the Premier League and Champions League. To do that over the course of the upcoming season, they need to strengthen in a few key areas. Hughes and Edwards have already gotten Leverkusen's Jeremy Frimpong over the line, but more reinforcements are needed. Andy Robertson isn't the player he once was, and Kostas Tsimikas probably isn't a Champions League quality left-back, meaning the stage is set for one Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth. Liverpool have been linked with the Serbian-Hungarian pretty much all season, and for good reason. The 21-year-old is quick, strong, and is solid as a one-on-one defender. He also gets forward well and delivers a decent ball, evidenced by his 5 Premier League assists this season. He's also been part of a Bournemouth defense which has kept 9 clean sheets. Not bad for a team of their stature. Another key area which needs to be strengthened is at centre-back. Ibrahima Konaté's contract is up next summer, and considering the saga the club has just been through with a certain Madrid-bound right-back, the powers that be are not going to want to miss out on another transfer fee for a player entering his prime. If a contract cannot be agreed this pre-season, Konaté could find himself moving on to ensure at least a nominal fee enters the club coffers. That should pave the way for another centre-back to come through the doors at the AXA training centre. To be honest, even if Konaté doesn't leave, Liverpool could still benefit from doing business in the centre of the defence. So, who could they target? Having missed out on Bournemouth's elegant Spanish centre-back, Dean Houchen, who has moved to Liverpool's Spanish rivals Real Madrid, there has been hushed talk around the club regarding a move for Sporting Lisbon's Ousmane Diomande. The Ivorian is tall, strong, and with Joe Gomez a long-term injury risk and Jarell Quansah still not ready for a starting berth, the highly rated youngster could prove to be the perfect fit. Another target could be Crystal Palace's English stopper, Mark Guéhi. The Reds are known to be long-term admirers of the former Chelsea man, and with Palace having just lifted the FA Cup, Guéhi could feel as though he's done what he was brought in to do at Selhurst Park. What better way to sign off than by handing the club their first ever trophy? Guéhi knows the league and is a proven player. He's also an England international and brings plenty of experience for his age. A couple of years playing alongside Virgil van Dijk, it could prepare him to eventually replace the iconic Dutchman himself. Liverpool could do much worse than Mark Guéhi. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you smash that like button and hit the subscribe button too. Now, back to the video. There have also been quiet murmurings that the Reds could make a move for Ajax's promising young defender, Jurel Hato. The Dutchman ticks a few boxes here, mainly that his Dutch heritage aligns perfectly with manager and captain. He can also play a bit too. The Anfield outfit have reportedly sent scouts to watch Hato over the course of the season, according to both James Pearce of The Athletic and Paul Joyce of The Times, both outstanding sources when it comes to Liverpool's transfer business. With Real Madrid, known admirers of Hato, out of the way, having signed the aforementioned Houchen, it seems as though the path may have been cleared for Arne Slot to bring in another Dutchman. As an added bonus, the youngster can also play left-back, which could influence the manager's thinking if they fail to get Kerkez over the line. There was a point during the previous season when it seemed as though Nico Schlotterbeck would almost certainly be moving on from Dortmund, with the club languishing in mid-table. However, the Black and Yellows recovered to claim a Champions League place. The 25-year-old is known for his aerial ability, speed and aggression, all key attributes for a Premier League defender. His next move is going to be the biggest of his career. Whether or not he fancies a move to the Premier League or the well-trodden path to Bayern Munich remains to be seen. A move to Liverpool? It makes sense considering their lack of options at centre-half. At the top end of the pitch, Liverpool, well, they've struggled this season, which sounds strange considering they won the league at a canter. Both Darwin Núñez and Diogo Jota could both leave the club this pre-season, both for differing reasons. Jota just can't seem to put a run of games together without getting himself injured, and Núñez can't seem to put the ball in the back of the net. At times, last season, Luis Diaz was the preferred choice up front, which tells you everything you need to know about Slot's assessments of the Uruguayan. So, who could come in to claim the coveted Liverpool number 9 shirt? There has been a sustained call from the terraces this season to move for one Alexander Isak, but Newcastle clinching Champions League football on the final day of the season appears to have put a dent in those hopes. The Magpies no longer need to sell and can offer the Swede top-class European football. At Liverpool, however, he has a serious chance of winning trophies. That isn't the case at Newcastle. He's also reportedly been a target for Mikel Arteta at Arsenal, but some have claimed that the same unrealistic chance of trophies applies there too, considering the league they were supposed to win this season. A touch harsh, perhaps? With Florian Wirtz all but confirmed, it seems as though Arne Slot could slightly tweak his formation this season. Wirtz primarily plays as an attacking midfielder, but he can also function as a false 9. The Reds still haven't replaced Bobby Firmino in that regard, as well as an inverted winger. Luis Diaz has been linked with Barcelona for the past few months, but it's likely Slot has a more centralized role in mind for Wirtz, in order for him to impact the game as much as possible and dictate the play. Hugo Ekitike has also been mentioned as a potential target, but it is unlikely the Reds are going to meet his £80 million plus asking price, especially since the Wirtz deal is expected to take up a significant chunk of this season's transfer kitty. The Frenchman scored 15 in 33 in the Bundesliga last term, but he is still largely unproven. That sort of outlay for a youngster with no real experience, it seems like a piece of business Chelsea would be interested in, so I'm not sure if this one has the legs. One deal which might interest Slot is that of Jonathan David. The Canadian scored 25 times for Lille last year, a very good return, and with 87 goals in 178 games, he's showing he can do it consistently, at an average of basically 1 in 2 in France. David would also be available on a free transfer, and he would command considerably lower wages than some of the other names linked to Liverpool's famous number 9 shirt. The 25-year-old is versatile and can play in a number of attacking positions. He's strong, quick, and offers clinical finishing, something the Anfield men have been short of this season given Núñez's struggles, which brings us on to the Uruguayan himself. Darwin Núñez has had 3 seasons to prove himself at Liverpool now. Some have argued that at the very top level, that is 2 seasons too many, with a big money offer on the table from Saudi Arabia in January, which was turned down due to Liverpool's promising league position. It's likely that if the same offer came this summer, then Edwards and Hughes would drive Núñez to Ryder themselves. A move to Spain is probably the natural progression for Núñez in the same sort of way that Diego Forlan flourished there after leaving Manchester United. If Núñez is still at Liverpool come September, it will be very surprising indeed. There are a couple of other options Slot might look at in the striking department. João Pedro from Brighton looks like a player who could do the job at Anfield, but he might benefit more from another year on the south coast. Victor Gyökeres is tearing it up in Portugal, but then so did Darwin Núñez. It seems as though Gyökeres could be bound for Man U should they fail to get Brian Mbeumo over the line. But if Liverpool showed any real interest, there would surely be one destination the Swede would choose, despite having previously worked with Ruben Amorim. Slot could also be presented with a headache should the aforementioned Luis Diaz attempt to force through a move to Barcelona, a scenario we have seen before from multiple Latin players. If that situation does materialize, then the Reds manager will be in the market for a wide player. Eberechi Eze is a player with an abundance of admirers around the Premier League, and he also has age on his side. Quick, skillful, and with an eye for a goal. That FA Cup semi-final strike against Villa, for example. Eze could fit in well down Liverpool's left-hand side. Other options could include the likes of Brian Mbemo, who, like Gyökeres, would surely trade a move to Old Trafford in exchange for a genuine chance of winning the game's most prestigious trophies. There is also the seemingly never-ending link to Newcastle's Scouse winner, Anthony Gordon, who has never distanced himself from a move to Anfield. Whatever happens in the transfer market this summer, the Reds are well placed for another sustained assault on the Premier League. With the right additions in the areas we've outlined above, you wouldn't bet against the men from Anfield Road turning up in the Puskás Arena in Hungary next May, with designs on a 7th European Cup. Thanks for watching, and let us know your views in the comments below. And be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. See you on the next one.